Dr. Miano's question, where he says that today we have 105 national public secondary schools. I would want to clarify that this study was not done this year. This study was done in 2021. And so, by that time, the schools were 103, the national schools. Then the second question from Hilan, who is asking that, I appreciate, Hilan, thank you for realizing that the slides were well aligned. I'm humbled. But I want to answer his concern. He's asking that in the conceptual framework, he has not seen any intervening, but there could have been other intervening variables. But for this study, I did not use an intervening variable. So I chose not to use an intervening variable. I just looked at the relationship between controls and financial accountability. And I think now to do a study with an intervening variable, I don't know to an would want to set, but I think that's a good gap for a new study. In objective 4, he's asking ICT and which metrics were used to measure the objective. Now, this objective is not ideally ICT, but it's in the
I think after this presentation, we are done for the day.
Yes.
Do you still drive to Kisumu?
Yes.
I would like to borrow.
We are coming to Kisumu.
I realized that among her recommendations, I think she was slightly harsh and insensitive to some board members, because in her view, most of them just go there to collect some little money in the branch. In my view, board members actually, even if they're retired, they may not retire. And theirs is just to give back to society, and they're not supposed to manage the schools. So the school really is responsible for what they do. And even when I look at campus staff, most of them are actually board chairs, very senior schools, and they are not retired. So I think those kind of attitudes, I think maybe should be limited, because some of these board members actually usually they have got their resources to run, which resources to run. And when they get in those panels, it's just to conduct on the bus fare or for their time. That's my feeling. Thank you.
Lois, thank you. Let's see you tomorrow.
Are we over?
Giving, that these allowances come from the central government, so that even if it is not aid, if it is aid that was affecting this, the fact that some people see as if the principal is giving them favors, then that can be discouraged. But so these recommendations, you don't give them arbitrarily, you give them based on your results. So from my results, unless maybe another study is done again, from my results, it was realized that age affects oversight role of board members.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Margaret. Anyone have a question? I see Dr. Emmanuel hands up. Dr. Emmanuel, go ahead. Dr. Emmanuel?
Yes. I was just going back to the question Professor Omieno asked on the public chat. And I think Dr. Margaret may not have answered that appropriately. What I see is a question of 105 or maybe 136. What informed the choice of 103? I think the question was about a justification for the number at 103 out of 105. And you answered that study was done 2 years ago, 2021. So even if it was done then, what informed 103 out of 105? That's like 98%, if my maths is right.
Now, at the time this study was done, the study, at the time the study was done, it was not actually done 2 years ago. 2 years ago, with the data was collected probably 2020 there. The national public secondary schools were 103. At the time I was doing this research, they were 103. For now, they could be 105, 136. But when I was doing this study, the number was 103. That is what informed the 103.
So what you're saying, you purposively selected all public schools?
Yes.
I think that's what may not have come out.
National.
Yeah, I know, sorry, national schools. Sorry, my mistake. So you purposively selected all national schools?
Yes.
All right. I think that's what may not have come out well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. Any more questions? It seems there are no more questions. Thank you, Dr. Margaret, for your well done and informative presentation. I expect that audience, please keep posting if you have any more queries on public chat. Margaret, I'll also think on the issue of age limit. I will suggest that instead of government stipulating the age limit, we rather have a diversified board, so that instead of having a limit that at this point we don't have people we also need those retirees to bring in their input to the society. So instead of having age limit, we should have diversification of the age in the board composition of these schools. Otherwise, I want to appreciate each and everyone who has been.
Are you closing?
I see Dr. Emmanuel has a concern.
Yeah, I was
Dr.
saying.
Emmanuel?
Yes, I was just speaking again on what you're saying. If indeed Dr. Margaret's finding showed that age was a major factor in the form of older age affects ability to perform, that's the message I got out of that. But my question would be, rather than reach a conclusion on that, could there have been a follow-up study where they could have compared the output, run an analysis that controlled age to say probably these other factors may not have influenced the persons of certain age in performing, and that people of younger age actually outperformed every other person within that age bracket. That is what I would have liked to see as a follow-up from this study, and I think is due for that since this study was done 2 years ago. So we see if indeed, based on the findings of Dr. Margaret, we can have a better controlled study, a population controlled study, to be able to really establish that indeed those of a certain age and beyond are poor performers as BOM shares and so forth, as compared to persons of a younger age. That kind of conclude, because that's actually a very important part that has economic, well, saying it loosely, and socioeconomic implication on the society if we are just going to make regulatory or policy decision based on a descriptive finding now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. Dr. Margaret, any recap on that as we close?
No, I think I just want to appreciate the input that all of you have given on diversity and maybe a follow-up study. I think I appreciate that, and because that is, we continue to build knowledge. At one time you can get this, but maybe it was limited in some way. So I do appreciate, and thank you for giving me this chance to present.
Thank you. I want to thank our presenters once again for your insightful presentation. As I said, let us continue this discussion on our public chats. Please, if you still have any query or any comment, please continue posting, and our presenters, please continue logging on so that you can respond to the queries and questions that are raised by our audience. So at this moment, I want to bring the curtain of this presentation to an end, and I want to thank all the presenters. It was very humble opportunity to be chair this session, and I appreciate. And for the audience, very thank you for being there to make this happen. So we continue our discussion. This was room 4 for sub-thematic area of entrepreneurship and economic growth. So please continue raising those issues on that public chat so that we continue this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you as well, Chair, and thank you, presenters. I wish you all the best. Bye.
Thank you. You're welcome. Dr. Mieno, Professor Mieno, sorry. Do you have any closing remark? Professor Mieno?
Looks like Professor Mieno has left. I can't see him on the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So let us end there. We thank
So, room 1, there are 4.